Hello, you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. Happy Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tuesday. What are you guys up to? So, I wanted to give us a little break from Letitia, and I had been wanting to go through these Stephan Stearns emails. Now, there are different emails that have recently been released. So, there are some emails that took place last year that have been released via FOIA request. And then there are some current emails that just took place a couple weeks ago. It's the 17th. So, um, maybe 3 weeks ago. And those were released by Guilty of Crime. I've linked her channel in the description and I want to go through those. So, yeah. Hey, and I wanted to show you guys. Look at my shirt B Crumbs got me. Thank you, Connie. I love this. Look. Namaste, mother flower. But yeah. Anyway, so that's the plan. And let me see, we're going to get right into it. For people on the replay, I'll talk to you guys at the end instead of at the beginning. Let's see. Again, the link to Guilty of Crime is in the description, and that's who released these. She's been in contact with the parents, and so they gave these to her. Hey, Wolfie. All right. I bet you're as anxious and stressed as I am over Karen Reed. I can't wait to see, what happens there. But okay, so we're going to get right into this. This, like I said, May 27th, 2025, 7:21 p.m. So the first one is from Stephan to his dad. There's some interesting stuff, some things I want to talk about here. So let me just start. I'm going to read through, and I think maybe I'll do like the email, and then at the end we can discuss it and then go to the next instead of stopping throughout as I read. So, hey, Dad, thanks for making, I can't even read it with the typo. Thanks for making the order. I think it should be delivered Thursday, as today is supposedly the cutoff for Thursday delivery. But I can't be certain because last time we placed an order on Tuesday, it didn't get delivered until the following Monday. So either it will be here Thursday or it will get here Monday. But my fingers are crossed for it to get here Thursday like it should. In regards to the budget, yes, I noticed that the weekly commissary orders are averaging around $60, which does basically eat up my monthly book budget. I got to figure this out. There are certain items that I definitely need to have in order. The coffee is essential to me, and a certain amount of ramen is good too, since those help me to fill in between meals or supplement when a meal tray is particularly inedible. The beans are a thing that I can add to the ramen to make it a little more substantial and add some protein and fiber to it. I use about half a pack of refried beans per pack of ramen. And beyond those kind of essential things, a few smaller snack items here and there are good too, like hot peanuts and chips. So, I don't know. Maybe I could take a look at my orders and try to find a way to trim it back down. And of course, there are some weeks where I don't get any books. So, I don't know. I guess we got to figure this out. Maybe I could cut down to fewer packs of refried beans and potentially cut out the club crackers, or just get like 1 or 2 packs of saltine crackers instead. I need to check prices, or maybe we could do something with the hot plate meals, because I know if I trim that down to 1 per week, that would basically make up that budget issue. But I do like having that one day that I get to eat well, but I don't like to strain you guys too much. I don't know. Supposedly, there has been some kind of change to the hot plate site. I heard you can order certain extra sides on their own now, like cookies, sodas, or tater tots. Is that true? Write back soon and let me know your own thoughts as well. Okay, so first of all, and I do want to say thank you to Guilty of Crime, because she ended up sending me these, and I appreciate that so much. Okay, the whole entire thing, nothing but commissary. Some of the things that have been released via FOIA request, which I do have, I was going to make a video, were what he's purchased from commissary. So I think not in this lab, but we should see if they match up, see if he's telling the truth. It just reminds me of Tisha when talking to her family that like Brenda, that gives her money, and it's all about her or him in this case, them and their commissary orders. It's like, also, and then I'm going to get to the chat and see what you guys have to say. I don't want to strain you guys too much. Are you freaking serious? You literally have your parents in the worst situation a parent could even ever imagine being in, right, with your kid, except for losing them permanently. But like what you've done is so horrific, and you're going to face the death penalty. I'm pretty certain you're going to be found guilty if that phone evidence is allowed in. Yeah. And you don't want to strain them? Are you serious? Can you imagine what they're even going through? They didn't commit a crime. Whatever. Delulu. Let's see. He always tries to use big words, and his favorite topic is himself. Imagine that. Who is looking to these? What do you mean, Harley? So I linked in the description, guilty of crime right here, right below you. Jay, I always, even though I know how to pronounce your name, just because it's spelled different, like I always have to consciously make the effort not to say it wrong. So I apologize for that. But she got these. She's been talking with his parents, and yeah, she put these out, if that's what you mean. Okay. Hey, Justin. Hey, everybody coming in. All right, let's continue. This is from Deb to Stephan. Hi, Stephan. I hope the books get to you tomorrow. Probably messed up by the holiday. Now, is Becca still on your legal team? I want to send them some info, but want to make sure I send it to the right person. Any word on the testing results? If so, please ask them to share with us. It was part of the POA to keep us in the loop. Well, it is wet here, and the red clay is atrocious. I forgot how much I hate it. The white girls look apricot. At least you can see it on the black ones. The dogs. Okay. I think she's talking about the dogs. Baths and short hair for all this next week. Hey, you still didn't tell me about your new Penpal. I was wondering if it was a lady who contacted me a few months ago. She seems very nice. Lori Mansell, one of her friends, Gavin Fish, another YouTuber, contacted me for an interview, but I just really want to maybe limit my exposure. But I haven't heard from Lori lately, so thought she might just have decided to write you directly. She has a YouTube channel too. I'm glad Chris got back on the commissary site. I wonder what happened to shut it down for so long. Feeling good. Some days better than others. Today I had a list of things to do. Got occupied with something else and said, "Not today, Lord. I just don't have it in me to attack my closet." Will be nice to get the other cabinets put together so we have places to store more stuff. I need to get this off to you, so maybe I can hear back from you tonight. Love and hugs, Mom. Very lucky that you get to talk with, the family is lucky, and the inmates, that they get to have this kind of communication. They just get to text and email all day, or pretty much all day. That, of course, I'm sure they have times where they have other things to do. Also, I don't know if she'll ever hear this, but I think it's a good idea to limit your exposure as a person in the situation, like the parents of either the victims or the perpetrator. People will exploit you. They will. So he turned down Plunder and Gavin Fish, but he's been writing me back. I just need some help with questions. What questions should I be asking him? What do you guys want to know? Oh man, I'd have to think about that, but I wonder how much how deep he would go with answers. I'm tempted to write him a strong another one, Kelly. Kelly wrote him a letter, and it ended up showing up later in some of the correspondence between him and his parents. So then he responds. This is interesting. Oh, and also a pen pal. Like, I'm sorry. If you are sitting at home, the only way you would know about him, the only way is to know what he did. Why in the hell would you ever want to be a pen pal with him? Like, I get it if you are a YouTuber and you're trying to get an interview, or if you're the news, or if you're a documentary series or whatever, that's one thing. I totally understand that. I'm the kind of person I would interview anybody. Sometimes people will get mad at you if you choose to talk to or interview somebody who's, even if they're not convicted or accused of something horrific like this, just a person who doesn't have public like favor. People will get mad at you, but I would interview anybody, whether it's crime related or just like news related and someone controversial. I think that those are probably the most interesting and best interviews. So I can understand why a YouTuber would, but a regular person why? There has to be other people that would be better pen pals. One second, you guys. There has to be. Put something back in the freezer. I'm sorry, but yeah, there has to be better pen pals out there. I want to know if he thought about how Maddie would be mentally affected when she was older by what he was doing. Good question. Would he answer that? See, that's the thing. You also with asking him questions, he'll probably be willing to answer more after the trials. Hey, girls, Nana. Kimberly says, I don't think he would honestly answer any questions that really mattered. Yeah, I don't think he could yet, but maybe. I just can't understand if the pen pal is listening, find a better pen pal. Come on, man. It just made me think about how, like, what he's been accused of, and you're going to let him into your life. And then it made me think, like I said, of Jen. Like, why do people allow scumbags to be in their life? Or, I don't know. If you, that's just my thought on it. Let me keep going. We'll chat more after the next one. So, from Stephan, and I'm not going to judge the parents, like, their responses too much. I think he's fair game, though. So he responds, hey, Mom, the books did arrive. Just so you know, I received 19, 20, 21, as you know, but apparently 10, 11, 12, 13 through 15, and 16 through 18 were rejected and placed in my property for inappropriate images, which is complete bullshit. This series has never had anything remotely inappropriate, and now I'm expected to believe that all three, a lot of typos, of these books suddenly did. And not only that, but I only received the slip today, and it was dated on the 21st, the same damn day you ordered them. They were supposed to have been delivered on the next day, the 22nd. Has Amazon somehow developed time travel delivery without telling anyone? It's bullshit. I'm in the middle of submitting grievances right now because it turns out that the original batch was received and rejected as well, but I was never given any notification of it. And of course, there's the matter that I asked Buckley face to face about them, and as I told you before, she claimed they never came through. I am pissed. $100 worth of books rejected and withheld from me over bullshit excuses and technicality. I am escalating this higher because it certainly seems like I am being targeted with reprisals and retaliations for having filed past grievances and questioning the legitimacy of some of her rejections. And now I'm having trouble getting my own books out of my property to donate them because apparently, according to Buckley, this same petty tyrant, I have some sort of restriction that states I can put things into property but not retrieve them. That was never the case before. I have had books retrieved from my property as recently as January of this year, so this mysterious restriction is news to me. But coincidentally, it was also around mid January that I filed my first grievance about a book rejection, Cycle of the Werewolf, if you recall. So, sometime between then and now, I had this restriction put on me, even though I've had no disciplinary actions or reason to do so. Suspicious. It almost seems like she might have had a hand in that to potentially keep me from getting those rejected books out and proving she was overstepping. Maybe I'm just paranoid, but the timing seems too much of a coincidence and she is getting far too personally involved, especially considering this whole property issue began after I raised a big stink about Naruto number one being rejected for depiction of nudity and escalated it to her supervisor. When you sent Naruto number one again and I received it, I saw what she meant by nudity. It was a character that had implied nudity, as in technically unclothed, but nothing was showing. Everything was covered up and obscured by smoke so that nothing inappropriate was actually shown. If you've ever seen the Jaws movie poster, it's kind of like that, where you, the viewer, understand that the person is technically nude, but nothing is actually revealed. That's when she came down to my cell and started pursuing this issue with my property and trying to set it up that my family has to pick it all up. When I informed her that you had moved out of state and could not pick it up and was going to donate them, that's when this restriction was mentioned by her. Yet more suspicious. If she keeps it up, I will continue filing grievances and creating a record of it. And she is going to dig herself deep enough to get in some trouble eventually. If I have to get my legal team to start asking some questions, maybe I will do that too. This certainly seems malicious upon first glance, and the evidence is piling up. If you can manage to get through, you might want to raise some hell too. Since they tend to respond, I cannot believe this, more to pressure from multiple sources. I don't know. I have asked in my grievance for a supervisor to come down here and speak with me. So I hope they do because I need to speak to someone with a brain without her standing next to them and bullshitting her excuses. Hold up. I have to pause here, even though I said I would read. This is a long one, okay? He sounds just like Letitia. He literally sounds like Letitia in this. So now they are retaliating because of the grievances he's filed. Okay. When you start to sound like Letitia Stalk, I can't take you serious. And I would like to see the grievances because I know that we could probably get them. Hey, just stopping by. Just stopping by to hear his emails read so I can raise my blood pressure. Oh, hey, this the breaks. Hey, Tony. We had to pause in the middle of this one, like, wow. And I just wanted to check on you guys. His bitching, yawn. Is it going to be a lawsuit next? Are we going to have a lawsuit against the jail for retaliation and violating your civil rights? I was just thinking he sounded like Letitia Stalk. He really does. All narcissistic people sound the same, pretty much, Tony said. Who, Kelly? So they moved out of state. That's interesting. I don't blame them, though. Don't blame him. 1 second. Okay. I had to cough. Now let me make myself little again. And let's keep going. Anyway, you wanted an update, and there it is. I guess I'll hold off on any more Bleach for right now and just see about Dragon Ball and or Toriko. If that one even has any omnibus editions, I'm not sure. Just send 1 or 2 of them for now, just in case. And the Dirk Gently book, maybe 2. Damn it, I'm so upset about this. Bleach is such a damn good series, and none of them have had anything inappropriate so far. It's really infuriating. Ugh. You know, I don't cause any trouble. I don't make waves. I don't give the officers any problems. All of them will tell you I don't do shit. I don't start shit. I'm just quiet and respectful. But I raise an issue with the civilian staff in the mailroom, and now I am dealing with malicious and retaliatory petty bullshit from a miserable person with nothing better to do. I'm sorry this is happening. Maybe I should just have kept my head down and never piped up about the cycle of the werewolf or Naruto. But I'm supposed to be able to file grievances over issues of the substance, interpretation, or application of rules that affect me. And staff are not supposed to retaliate or target you over it. That certainly seems like an interpretation or application of the rules that was affecting me. This is such bullshit. This place is an absolute clown show. I've heard people, inmates and COs, talking about how ass backwards this facility is and how poorly managed it is. And I've seen for myself what a joke it is. I might talk to my legal team about the possibility of moving me. They had considered it before. Maybe I should explore that option. I love you. Right back soon. Big hugs. So you don't answer your mom about the Penpal, and the only thing you want to talk about is you and all the stuff that you need your parents to do for you. Okay. Really? Guilty of crime. Didn't know that. Dude is a burn. Who cares about how you behave in there? It's about how you behaved out here that mattered. Ding, 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 Lisa. It's kind of like this. I was thinking as I was reading it. Maybe don't do what you did, commit a crime, and such a serious one that puts you in jail like this with no possibility of bond, and you're not going to get out until the day that you leave in a body bag. That's just most likely the truth. As long as that phone evidence goes in, I don't see a reason that would not be the way that things work out. Again, I don't know, just very selfish, gross behavior. No other inmates will mess with him because he routinely receives money. His Bubba will keep inmates from hurting him. Of course he doesn't start shit. He's a pussy. All child predators are. Could you imagine him in a prison fight? Ha! Kimberly. Don't really have to even start shit when you're in there for that. People just won't like you unless they're also predators. So mom responds May 28th and she says, well, this situation does suck big time. These are cartoons and have the same characters throughout. Why are some allowed and others are not? Can you put in written requests to donate books from storage? Oh, wait, let me pause and say, I would not be surprised if he's lying. If it's straight bullshit, what he's saying, if he's completely lying, and this is what he's telling his parents for an excuse, because we've seen Letitia do that, right? Like he's not going to admit to the bad shit that he does. We've even seen him spin excuses and, his own version of events. So I'm not saying he's lying, but I don't believe him either. But okay. And then I hate to bring it back to Letitia, but having went so deep, like into her jail records and her communications and her mentality and stuff, we've literally heard her telling her family that she's not being fed and they're being super abusive to her, and her family will sit on the phone and cry, and it's not true. There's a freaking fly in my house, and it's not true. So it's messed up because these people, they have their family all worried about them and concerned sometimes when it's not even true. And they're already going through enough being the family member of somebody who does what they've done. Okay. Can you put in written requests to donate books from storage? Can you gift them to others stuck in ISO too? How do they get the books on the library cart if people aren't allowed to donate them? Remember, it is just her and her cronies. It isn't all the guards. This was the second time I've sent them and the second time they weren't returned and you didn't receive them. They are into hundreds of dollars they've cost me and your father because of his high-handed pettiness. Because of this high-handed pettiness. You've mentioned more than once that the majority of the guards are professional and kind, that they treat others with respect as long as they themselves are respected, which you do. You don't make waves, but the truth of the matter with the mailroom personnel that they don't seem to understand or give a toot about, they are stealing from me and Chris, and we are not prisoners there. Hundreds of dollars lost because of one woman on a power trip? I'd love to make calls about this, but the phones never get answered. I've called all the numbers given to me by your legal team and those on the jail site on Google. I have not ever gotten through. It's frustrating. We are paying the daily rate for you to be in jail. We provide extra food and something to occupy your mind. Books, origami, cards, radio, not them. So I really don't understand the pettiness being shown. I am sure the guards are there and civilian stuff. I'm sure there are guards there and civilian staff, like the mailroom people, that are just bored and trying to make it through the day. I totally understand that. It is hard on you and it is hard on them too. They also only know what has been released to the public about you. I understand more now why you are staying quiet about case details. They will come out during your trial. I look forward to that and the results from those revelations. I pray for it to happen. That's understandable. I can I can see being the parent how you might be like, okay, I'm waiting for the facts. I just unfortunately don't think that it's going to bring this revelation, this like big. I think it's just going to bring more heartache to his parents. But it's just my thought. I know you have guards you like and respect. Maybe they can give you some idea of how to handle this situation without it becoming a big stink. Also, I hope you only let the guards you know and trust to take you to the showers or anywhere else. If you don't know them and can decline, then don't go with them. Don't let them take you out of ISO. You don't need to mingle, and that is for your own safety, especially now, okay? Enough said. Stephan, you are not in summer camp or setting in a cushy mental hospital like some people we both know and I loathe. Ooh. What? Yes, the hospital thing has been verified by the woman who drove Jen there. So I'm so busy. I had read through these like a little bit and listened to some on Guilty of Crime, but not every detail. So I'm kind of surprised to see this. So she says, again, let me read this part again. Stephan, you're not in summer camp or setting in a cushy mental health hospital like some people we both know and I loathe. Yes, the hospital thing has been verified by the woman who drove Jen there. Interesting. So now, because we've heard, possibility of it, and then we heard that it was maybe something that was just seen in a comment section and it wasn't verified. So now she says the woman who drove Jen there verified she was in the hospital. Wow. Aw. You sent me a Cash App a few days ago. I hope you got it. Debbie, I don't think I did. I will check. I have my phone right here, so it's looking. Thank you so much. It's really sweet. But I'm worried I didn't get it. Could you send me an email? Yeah, because I'm on June 7th. I'll look more after. Was it before that? And I don't see it. But thank you so much, Debbie. The thought is sweet enough. And I appreciate you. Thank you. Very sweet. Okay. What? Wow. Okay. I've truly never met someone who could so lie under oath to thoroughly fleece the government for money, someone who could lie with impunity. But I guess she learned her tricks from her mom, at least the way she talked about her and how she was treated by her. Yolanda does know how to work the system, that is for sure. Case in point, the money from the COVID fund and all the fake companies that were put together all for all the family, as well as the GoFundMe for Maddie's funeral. I think Jen is totally unstable and a habitual liar and grifter, but I'm not a doctor to make diagnoses about people. However, look what Jen did to Tyler. She told him Maddie was taking flute lessons and had Tyler pay for them. It was a ploy to get more money from him and to put stress on his marriage. Tyler supposedly said Jen was trying to destroy his marriage when he went on that YouTube interview. I didn't hear it, but that was what I was told by a trusted source who does know. Jen is devious, petty, and vindictive, but plays the victim role so well. There are some YouTube channels that have brought in body language and liar experts who have given details of Jen's behavior during interviews that absolutely point to lies and her culpability in this whole thing. Sorry, I hit the mic. And I hope your legal team utilizes some of those people. If asked, I can shed some light on her actions that are 100% illegal. Only things I observe myself and are true. I won't lie about her, but the truth is pretty telling. Ooh, what does she mean? Things she witnessed that are illegal. If you could get transferred, where would you even go? Orange County? I don't know if that would be good. Orange County has a pretty rotten reputation, but maybe things have changed over the years since we lived there. I do think the officer who drove you from Orange County to Kissimmee was a gentleman, polite and professional. Kudos to him. But that twit Taggart, she should be out writing parking tickets, not being a detective. Ooh, she is a total gaslighter and liar and devious and a thief. She stole your phone. I don't think this is the first time Taggart and the others have performed this act with detainees. I think they should all be investigated. I also take umbrage to them having women standing in front of you with you totally unclothed, handcuffed, and they could make comments. I hope they got their jollies, but shame on them. Wow. Okay, I'll address that in a second. She says, well, looks like we've both got some of the steam out of the hurt locker. I do hurt for you, Stephan, but I'm also pragmatic enough to acknowledge you and no one else put you in this situation. And because of you being there, we are basically being targeted too, and we're not guilty of anything at all. So you see, actions have tentacles and they reach out and pull other people in with you, and there is nothing we can do about it. It doesn't mean we can't continue to love and support you emotionally and as much financially as we can. That won't change. There is another Stephan inside you that we know and no one else does and doesn't care anyway. They have tunnel vision. Every coin has two sides. So do people. They have theirs too. Maybe they can refrain from judging you or us until they themselves are perfect. Keep your head up, stay alert, don't trust blindly, read, pray, exercise, try to keep your mind and body in shape. By the way, I ask you 2 questions you haven't answered. Is Becca still on your team? Who is the Penpal? Also, is someone else adding money to your commissary? I have been told yes, but I don't know. I guess if people want to send you stuff, that's their prerogative, and it's okay as long as they aren't using it as a bribe to get you to talk exclusively to them, okay? YouTubers can seem very, very pleasant and sympathetic and be absolute liars that turn around and malign you completely, using your own words against you once they twist them to fit their own narrative. Be smart, be strong, and know we love you. You are our son. Hugs, Mom. Woohoo! Okay. First of all, good advice at the end. That's true. There's a lot of pieces of shit out there, and especially on YouTube. They will exploit you. They will take advantage of you. They will twist what you say. They will lie. You know, I get sick of seeing creators like I know they're lying to their audience. I've seen it over the span of the last few days in multiple places. And it's like, do you give a damn about your viewers? How can you lie to them like that if you do? You can't. There's no way. But, hold on. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. But listen, first of all, the phone wasn't stolen, okay? She told him. Second of all, if the shit wasn't on his phone in the first place, listen, he's not the victim here. We're not going to sit here and go, oh, they can judge you when they're perfect. I agree that people shouldn't be judging the parents too much. You know, they didn't commit the crime. They need to be left alone. I truly do believe that. But we have the right to judge him all day, every day. I'm sorry, when you are accused of doing something so horrific to a child, I will judge you. I will bash you. I will make fun of you. I will put your ass on my thumbnail without your clothes on just to shame and embarrass you, just like I've done in the past. Not showing your business, but I'm just saying, because she made the comment about the women there. No. You don't get to do this. I agree. Unless people are perfect, they should leave everyone else alone. But we know for a fact, okay, what was on that phone. He's admitted it. It's been in police documents. It's been in interviews shown. Pictures were described to Jen. We know what was happening for a fact. I don't have to wait for trial. We can wait for trial for the details, and especially with the murder charges, right? We want to know more about how that happened and what happened. But the second you start messing with a child like that in any way, shape, or form, I will judge you every day for the rest of my life, and I will enjoy it. I'm sorry. I will never, ever feel bad about pointing out some piece of trash like that. I have little kids. And let me tell you what, had it been my kids, I'd probably be in prison for the rest of my life, and he wouldn't have to wait for trial because his ass wouldn't be here on this planet at all. Okay? The phone was not stolen. It wasn't. And if the pictures weren't on there, then there would be no issue. And not only that, let's not talk about the fucking drive, the hard drive with 35,000 images. Oh my God. All right, let me just chill because I'm going to try. I really do want to not be rude and mean, okay? Because I get that his parents did not commit the crime, and I don't think that they should be harassed and bashed and judged and all this stuff, right? But damn it, man, this is bullshit. Okay, let me continue. And again, I'll say the end. This couldn't be more true. YouTubers can seem, all people, but YouTubers can seem very pleasant, sympathetic, and be absolute liars that turn around and malign you completely using your own words against you. That is true. Okay, there are pieces of crap in every group of people, right? That's good advice, and I don't disagree with that. But all the other stuff, it's hard to respond in a nice way. So I'm going to keep it pushing. Let's see what he has to say. Yeah, the Tisha calls. Debbie, I'm excited that we got those two. I couldn't believe it. I actually surprised Jen with that. We didn't know, just didn't know. It happened. We didn't know what was going to happen, but yeah, I'm excited too. And we have a bunch more. I just wanted to take a break for a day and do something else. There are so many other cases and things that I want to talk about. And as much as I think that her calls are interesting and important, and we will continue to do it, I want to do other things too. So. He did not make one mistake, one bad decision. He prayed, groomed, and essayed a child for years. There is no other side to this one. Exactly. There is literally, let's go back to one of the first dates in the indictment and the description of what he did, okay? Maddie had only been in school for a few years, okay? Just a few years past kindergarten, little baby. Hey, Pika. Maddie was in a video where he told her, she was on the phone, I believe, playing with his phone or playing with a tablet. And he told her if she didn't perform the disgusting act he was asking her to, she wouldn't be allowed to watch TV anymore or play on the thing. She was literally threatened to not be able to do shit that kids are supposed to be doing and love to do if she didn't do the sick shit he wanted. There is no other side to that. That is all on video and described plain as day. If you guys haven't seen it, I created a several page timeline. It took me some time. There are links in it you can click that show it goes all the way back to when they first met. It goes through the dates listed in the indictment, the interviews, what happened the next day. I inserted a ton from the police documents that have been out about the timeline that morning, what he was seen on camera doing, that kind of stuff. Over on my Patreon, on the free tab, you don't have to pay for it. You can just join as a free member and check that out. If you don't know, you got to see it because there is so much more to this. Let's think about the pictures that Maddie was drawing. Let's think about the teacher saying that she was so depressed coming to school. She was crying a lot, head down, sleeping in class, not showing up, failing her classes. No, you don't get to put a child through that and then say, how are they judging you if they're not perfect? See, now I'm getting pissed. So I'm going to keep it pushing. Because that is bullshit. Okay. 1 second. Okay. I'm sorry, you guys. I just don't get it. And I'm not going to mince my words when it comes to that. I'm not going to be sorry for judging a sick predator like this. I understand you wait for trial for the facts, but here is the thing. He has admitted it. We've heard the phone calls. We've seen the descriptions of the videos. We've seen Jen being showed the pictures. No. Sorry. Pissed about it, but let me keep it pushing. Try to calm down. Hey, Mom. To answer some of your questions, I've spoken to officers about the mailroom issue, and they agree that it seems that she is stepping out of her lane and going above and beyond to not only reject books that shouldn't actually be rejected, but also she is butting into departments that are not her turf. She may work with property. She is not the property officer, and she is involving herself in matters outside of her department. And let me say, my attitude is not even towards parents. It's not. It's him, towards him. And I think anybody could understand, and especially if you're raising kids of your own. But let me keep going. I just want to say, like, this is all directed at him, but also newsflash, people have a right to judge this. As a society, we have to stand up. We have to stand up for the vulnerable, the kids, the elderly, the veterans, the mentally ill. She claimed I had that restriction on my property, but she wouldn't necessarily have knowledge about the extent of what I am or am not allowed to do. And she is asking for your contact info to contact you about picking up my property. But that's not how the property release process even works. I would fill out a form and designate who will pick it up. There's no reason for her to be involved in that process. So she is definitely doing some weird stuff and going above and beyond to make things hard on me. I've submitted my grievance. I've included those details as well as detailed the fact that I was never notified of the first rejection. How she claimed they never got them, only to now disclose that they had. How she rejected Naruto #1, but it was approved the second time it came. And I know now that the rejection was not actually deserved, but was based on a technicality that was excessively strict. And that she has been pursuing me for several weeks over the property I have in storage. And once I mentioned that I was going to donate it, it seemed to throw her off. And she came up with a BS about a restriction on my property, even though I've never had a restriction like that, and there's no reason that I would. So I've asked to have the supervisor come speak to me, and I've mentioned I may involve my legal team since it certainly is seeming more and more like I'm being unfairly targeted with reprisals. That may be true. Honestly, I could understand if there was an officer who looked at him and just thought, ugh, and had a real hard time, treating him the same as, I don't know, the man down the hall who lied and didn't pay his taxes or was drunk driving, which is also hurtful to other people, not just yourself, but not like this. I mean, I could be understanding for that. I can believe that this could be true. I don't know what will come of it, but the grievance says it's pending and the status has reassigned, which I hope means that it's being kicked up the chain above her. She was even down here delivering mail around 1 p.m. today, but she didn't come speak to me. But I had already submitted my grievance by 10 a.m., so she likely already had seen the grievance since they usually go through her. So I will fight this crap as much as I can because I am not any happier about those lost purchases than you are. Believe me, I am uppercase pissed. Uppercase pissed. In regards to me transferring, it would be to Orange County if I did, but there's a couple of reasons that would possibly be good. First, Orange County is not quite as hardline conservative as Osceola. And secondly, Orange County Jail is run far better than this crap hole and is much more professional. But I honestly think the likelihood of my being transferred at this point is low. It was talked about earlier during the process, but I don't know if we are too committed here or not. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. From the sound of what you're saying, it sounds like you may have heard or learned some things that have led you to understand my keeping quiet a bit better. It also sounds like you think there is reason to fear for me a bit. Has something come up? Or have you heard something? Well, I don't know. It's just that they literally have to keep people accused of what you're accused of away from all the other inmates unless they're accused of the same thing because people don't like predators who hurt children. And some dad that's being kept away from his kids because of him not paying his taxes may want to wring your neck when he looks at you. That's just the truth. It's the truth. I think maybe that's why she's in fear for you, but whatever. If you can't go into detail, you can dance around and keep it general. Yeah, that flute lesson stuff was absolute BS. There were never any flute lessons, only piano that I can remember. I didn't know that stuff was happening with Tyler. That really sucks. Yes, Jen is unstable, and yes, she can be petty and vindictive, and yes, she does perpetually maintain a constant victim mentality. Which was certainly one thing about her that I always found rather frustrating. I guess it turns out there was a lot going on with her that I didn't even know about, though, judging by what I've heard so far from you and my pen pal. Oh, really? To answer your last few questions, Becca is still technically on my team, but I haven't seen her since Sheila left. I answered about the pen pal a couple messages ago, but these things probably get buried easily with how much we go back and forth. So I will answer again. My pen pal is named Jessica. She claims she's not a YouTuber. She is the type who likes to find out who people are beyond the headlines and FOIAs. A lot of different interesting cases around the country to learn more about them. She claims to have also been in and out of jail several times in the past for drugs and the various types of charges that are now often associated with supporting a drug habit, but that she has been clean for about 9 years now, if I recall correctly. Are you sure? Are you high, girl? Messaging him, for real. From what she has said and the way she describes her jail experiences, it certainly sounds like she has legitimately been behind bars for some extended stays. She lives in North Carolina and describes herself as being country AF. And like me, she tends to float from hobby to hobby. We just talk about general things about me and my life, like the truck accident and TBI, things like that. No specific details about the case. She understands how legal defense works and doesn't push for anything like that. I figure I can answer the questions about things from my life, and it's better to come directly from me rather than let vague things being speculated about wildly. I am being careful not to step into things about the case that are not already available to the public. Is someone adding money to my commissary actively? No. But there were some funds added in the past by people I didn't know. The last time was in October. I've documented it. There were contributions from two different people. Back in June, someone named Danielle Carr deposited $40, and then someone named Karam Law deposited 10 every couple weeks from July until October for a total of 110. Idiots. Nothing since then. And of course, now that we've stopped depositing into my commissary to avoid the daily fee, I am so far into the negative 200 at this point that if someone did deposit funds, it wouldn't even make a difference. Lol. But yeah, some people did that. And the weird thing is, I don't recall them ever trying to add me on the tablet, and I've never spoken to them. I can't explain why the deposits happened, but that's the fact of it. So mom and dad are keeping up, and they're like, hold up, we're sending you all this money, but so is somebody else. That's what it seems like. No, Lisa, hell no. Hey, Punksy. Thank you for being a member for 39 months. Eat pretzels and be happy. 39 freaking months. Thank you, Punksy, so much. Appreciate you. Yeah, Debbie, email me and we'll figure it out because I don't see it, but I'm looking while doing this, so I can look again. I am uppercase pissed. I know. I'm gonna steal that. Not from him, but to joke at him. Oh no. Don't be sorry, Debbie. You don't even have to send it. It's the thought that counts, and I don't want you to have to do it twice. Let me see. Yeah, I appreciate that so much. It's super, super sweet. If you haven't done it yet, just hold on to it. And because, yeah, I don't want you having to pay for that twice. And thank you so much, Debbie. That's very sweet. Okay, so let's see what else is in here because I'm not going to keep you guys too much longer. I don't read through every single detail. Tagler is a gaslighter and a liar. She lied on the stand when she said she gave my phone back before stepping away, but her own incident report and the transcripts from the audio contradict that statement. It was BS. I hope the judge caught that or catches it. There's a certain date where he's going to put out his what the judge decided about the phone. He said he agrees the officer who drove him to Osceola was a good one. He liked him. And when he dropped him off and was about to leave, I thanked him for his kindness. When the murder charges were going to be delivered to me and they were asking for volunteers for an officer to drive over and deliver them, he was the one who volunteered. So I saw him again on that day too, and he was just as kind and professional about it. I told him I was at least glad it was him, and we fist bumped through the glass on the door when he left. He was a real stand-up guy. So, as I said, let's hold off on more bleach until I have some sort of resolution to this grievance, but it's pending. We can try for Dragon Ball again, back to what you can do for me. Please send me this stuff, which I understand you got nothing to do in it, but still, maybe say thank you and how much you appreciate them. He said, I love you. I guess we unloaded some stuff here today. Big hugs right back soon. I got it, Debbie. Thank you so much. I did get it. Thank you. I can understand why his mom put these out because she's having her messages put out by other people when maybe she's, I don't know, without like doing it on her own, on her time, probably feels like she can take back some of that control. So I'm sorry to hear about Aunt May. Maybe the attorneys will talk to you about our conversation from Tuesday. It mainly involved the second case. Let's see. Clippers, review videos, books. And that's it on this one. Hi, Stephan. Yep, sounds like she's a Karen, the queen of the mailroom. You definitely need to get someone to intervene in her bullying because that's what it is. Oh no, he's not being bullied, but whatever. So they must have had a phone call. She says, "What I said, just do what I suggested. I can't go into detail either. We will share with your legal team and they can debrief you. We are supposed to talk to them next week about the testing. The doctors will be part of the conversation. They have more questions. Too bad we aren't close enough now for them to drive over." I get angry when people who say such ugly things, but then I find myself feeling that way with a new 15-year-old who was lured away, 3 older men, and the things they told her they wanted her to do and what they would do. Nope, I feel so bad for her parents. They are devastated. Apparently, she might be headed to Vegas to meet the men. She'll get there and they won't be. They've been identified, and I think 2 are in custody. 1 is still not arrested. She says, "I do wish I could see you, and I pray for you all the time and your safety. People in jail and prison are so vulnerable." That's true. She says, "That's one of the reasons I've been asking you to get in shape. You have time to do it, so please do it. Get creative." And then what do you want me to order? Here, that's cool. You're planting anti-mosquito plants. Again, it looks like they're kind of responding to a phone call that they had. Florida has been passing, ooh, this is interesting. So Stephan says, Florida has been passing a lot of interesting bills lately, but I was surprised and a little disappointed that the governor vetoed this legislation to do away with the free kill laws that allow doctors to get away with malpractice deaths by denying the family's right to take legal action. If you have a child over 25 that dies due to malpractice, the parents can't sue. Then he talks about, "I'd like to be able to make my own bread." Ooh, I don't think you'll ever be able to do that, dude. Sorry. Hate to break it to you, but guess what? If you didn't commit the crime that you're, well, in my opinion, that you're probably going to be found guilty of this year, you would be able to make all the bread you wanted. So I am really trying to hold on and stay patient and sane, but it's just wearing me down day after day. I really need some good news and I hope I get some. I love you both. And then he writes again, "The neighbor I had was unhappy because he couldn't use the phone when he wanted to, so he decided to respond by breaking the fire sprinkler in his cell and flooding his cell, the hallway, and my cell with filthy black water from the sprinkler system." He can be a real knucklehead. He didn't think it through very well since he got soaked with that nasty water too. There's no way to stop that stream once you start it. Me and the officers were laughing about that a bit on the day afterwards. Well, at least you get to laugh because guess who never gets to laugh again? Anyway, he was moved to medical and now I have a new neighbor. Apparently the neighbor is much more polite and they can talk about books. He says, "The 2 that work today are often here and very nice to me, and I will often just automatically bring the tablet and will often bring me the tablet before I even ask just to make sure I get it. I guess it helps that I don't ever cause trouble and I'm quiet, polite, and courteous at all times." Some inmate, you weren't polite and courteous to Maddie. Some inmates just don't understand the concept of not making your time here any harder. Oh my God. Aren't you just the one who knows all, Mr. Wise One? Well, you know what? No, you're not. Because if you were, then you wouldn't have done what you did and you wouldn't be in prison or in jail headed to prison. I'm sorry. And that's the end of it. So, shoo, you guys. Let's see what you guys have to say. These correspondence is so infuriating. Trying to act like this is normal in any kind of way, and he isn't a monster. Pika, before you got here, I went spicy Amy today because I really tried to just keep my judgment towards him because I can understand that they didn't ask for this and whatever. I can understand that. They didn't commit the crime. Yes, they raised him. Yes, they are supporting him, but at the end of the day, I try to keep my harshness towards him for the most part. We did get supposedly, according, and remember, you have to take everything with a grain of salt. Unless you see it and hear it in a courtroom or see it in a police document, we just don't know if it's 100% true. But apparently, there was verification that Jen is in the mental hospital. And yeah, I just didn't like some of what we read, but my goodness. Oh my gosh. Debbie, $500? Spicy is always welcome. Hey, A for Advocate. That's terrible, Debbie. I'd be fighting Cash App to get that back. Even $10, I'd be trying to get it back if I send it to the wrong person. But do his parents? Well, maybe not. I think a lot of times I'd just let little shit go, but definitely 500. Do his parents just conveniently forget what he has done? I think it's a coping mechanism. And in order to live with what's happened, they have to, until trial, it seems like his mom's kind of taking a wait and see approach. I'm waiting for the facts to come out at trial. I have a feeling it's not going to be exactly what she's expecting. We know that his dad talked to police. Why hasn't Jen been charged? We heard the call. Police said, we have looked through everything. We have tried anything and everything to charge her to see if she was a part of this, but we haven't found evidence of that. So, I got to take, this is the perfect shirt for today's live. Actually, I showed you guys at the beginning, but if you weren't here, B Crumb sent me this. It says, Namaste, motherfucker. I love it. So cute. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we got to wait and see too to get more of the details, but I don't know. But again, I think it's coping mechanism. Yes, I got it. Oh, thank you, Patricia. You are so sweet. Always so good to me. Yeah, I said I got it, Debbie. As soon as I got it, I mentioned it, but maybe you didn't hear me because I was reading. But yes, ma'am, I sure did, and thank you so very much. And thank you, B Crumbs, for putting it in the chat. I bet he really is a model inmate, though. He's a big chicken at heart. Yep. And only uses his authority on children. That's exactly what I was thinking, where he says, I keep my head down. I don't start anything. And of course you do, because you're Of course you do. That sounds just like what you would do. Mr. Nice Guy, follow the rules to a T, very polite, until you're with a kid and nobody else is around. Or unless you're sneakily filming under doors and stuff like that. Oh, God. I just think maybe his parents shouldn't watch anything on YouTube because, look, people aren't going to have very nice thoughts about him. Even I feel like I'm really being extra kind towards them because I understand that this is not, they didn't do this, and it's got to be a tough situation, but you can't control what people think. And when you do something so horrific, I just think maybe you should stay off until after the trial, and then you'll get the facts, and then you'll know. And yeah, don't trust any YouTuber. Don't trust people. Like, keep the exposure limited, because here's what people don't understand. You put yourself out there. You have the right to do that. You have the right to answer to whatever you want, but people have the right to have an opinion on it. They have the right to respond to what you put out there. That's part of social media. If it's something you want private, keep it private. If you're going out on a public platform, expect people are going to have opinions, and they're not going to. That's something I had to learn quick getting a YouTube channel. I just wasn't good at taking constructive criticism at all. It hurt my feelings. I would get defensive. I would make excuses. It took a while before I was like, okay, before I didn't make it so personal. And also, it's good. You need to be able to take, when you're doing YouTube at least, take the criticism because it will just make your channel better. And I don't know, but it can be hard. You have to understand when you put yourself out there. There could be people today who are like, oh, pissed at me because I've been a little more polite towards his parents, or pissed at me for whatever. And guess what? I have to deal with it. It is what it is. I put my opinion out here. You put your opinion out on what I put out. I've had people talk all kinds of shit about me online. Guess what? I ignore a lot of it. I'm not going to play into it. I'm not going to feed into it. A lot of times I see it and ignore it. There are times when I don't. Push me far enough and I'm going to speak up. But also, I've ignored and swallowed a lot of shit. And you have to do that if you're going to put yourself out there. It's just part of it. But anyway, it's hard to take criticism when you're always right. It is really hard to take the criticism of strangers like that when you're not used to it, I will say. But got to get over it. Oh, A for advocate. Your skin has gotten a lot thicker these past few years. I see your growth, girl. You've been around since day one. I get so much hate. Yeah, I do have to swallow and ignore. You have to, because you don't have to, but if you're going to turn it into what you're like, when you respond, you'll get another response, and it's just going to be back and forth. And also, I don't know, like, what does somebody's opinion really matter? But thank you so much again, Jay. See, I still I see the name right under it. I don't know. My brain tries to say it wrong. I'm so sorry. But thank you so much for sending us that. And yeah, not I know that you've become somewhat, I don't want to say friends, but whatever, with a professional level of respect, I guess, with them. But I have my own thoughts, and some of them weren't super nice, but yeah, I'm trying, you guys. I'm trying to do my best. But anyway, thank you again for sending me that. I appreciate that so much. And you guys, go to the description if you want to see more or hear more about those messages and other things that have been put out there first. I wanted to go over the other emails, but it was 4 times as long. So I had a live plan the other day. I was going to do both sets, and that one is going to take a long time. I think it would be interesting, though, to compare his commissary to what he says he's getting. And yeah, I don't know. You know what? I kind of think that he takes it. He's even taking advantage of them, of his parents, probably people that are sending him stuff. Of course, he doesn't want them to know. I don't know. I got all kinds of thoughts, but I'm having trouble processing them, so I'll let y'all know later. I'm just going to read some of your comments and let you guys go. If I was in jail because I did some horrible thing and it would be embarrassing to my family, I would tell my family to not talk to me. Yeah, you're right, Coffee and Skeletons. There's a certain level of, okay, now it's time to put them first. But then, parents, they're going to, no matter what your kids do, a lot of parents are going to stand beside them. For me, I'm not making excuses for my kids, and I want them to be held accountable for the things they do that are wrong, because they need that to build their character, right? And it's just the way things should be. But I will support them and try to help them in that process. So, none of your business says you're taking the words right from my mind, Alex. Make sure you treat yourself. This is traumatic. They're hearing judgment they themselves would have no problem doing to others. Just couldn't handle shaming my mother or family. I know. It would be hard. Kelly, I haven't heard it being pushed back, but I'm not 100% sure. Yep, there we go. As of right now, yes. I'll have to be nice, girl. Hey, that's all I can do. And that's what I've done. I have still tried, though, to keep it the same what we're doing with Letitia's calls. The people who are talking to her, people that are talking to him, they didn't commit the crime. And even though they frustrate the fuck out of me at times, I'm going to be more gentle with those people than someone who has hurt a child like Letitia or Stephan. Like with Letitia, hell, her and her friends sit there and just talk shit about all of us on YouTube. And I would never put out anything that would be identifying to her. I don't want her to get hate like that. I don't know. It's a balance, I guess. And you've got to just do what you think feels right in the moment. And for me, I feel like that is being honest and calling things out and making statements that I feel like need to be made, but also doing that with a level of understanding of the situation and directing my anger towards the perpetrator, the alleged perpetrator. So, all right, you guys. Oh, thank you, A for Advocate. I love you and I appreciate that. All right, you guys. Many of you guys here now, the mods, don't even know Amanda that well. Amanda has been with me for years. She's a dear friend of mine. And yeah, appreciate you. I'm glad that you're here. So I'm going to let you guys go. Oh, love and respect back to you, Debbie. I'm going to let you guys go. I'll see you tomorrow. I got a lot of shit to do. I got to go edit more Letitia calls, and I got to listen very closely just because there might be some things that shouldn't be put out onto the airwaves, you know? So tomorrow night, we're going to be here for Tisha. And the next night, I think we're doing 2 back to back. I'm going to the beach Saturday. I'm so excited. I'm still going to do a little bit from there. And maybe I'll have some things planned to go up that are already finished. But yeah, maybe for the members and for Patreon, I'll do some IRL streaming. That would be fun. If you want to see that, let me know. Honestly, I say my kid could rot in prison if she ever did what he did, but really, you never know how you could handle it. I can't hate on his parents, really. Oh, if my kid, I could never imagine my kids doing that, which I guess, they probably couldn't either before this, but I don't know. It's hard to know what you would do, All right, you guys. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow for Tisha stuff if you're interested, if you're here. And yeah, if you have any requests like of other inmates whose calls we should get, I was going to do Lori Vallow, and I was looking, I don't believe they will release them out, which it was AI answers. It could be wrong. I need to do some double checking. But yeah, if you guys have any ideas, let me know because I want to put in some more requests. And I'm here to tell you, I did request Brenda's police report, but only because she talked about it in depth in the call. So I felt like, okay, we could take a look at it then because Brenda got in a fight with some woman. She's been dating her husband for 3 years and they had it out. And so, yeah. Oh, crocheting Bammy, thank you. Just here lurking, love your channel. I love when a lurker speaks up. Hey, Amber. Girl, Amanda, Tess, and B Crumbs are knee deep in the Karen Reed and Bendy too. You'll have to go over there next time they go live about it. All right, you guys, have a good night. I'll keep saying goodbye for another 20 minutes. So I'm going to let you go. And Debbie, we will always post them with no commentary. I'll try to do it right after the live streams. Like last time I did the live, then we posted the calls with the live chat. But have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow for the calls. Bye.